Okay guys, now let's move on with IELTS listening part 2. Part 2 is going to be a little more difficult and complicated than part 1. So you should be ready for that. Usually in part 2, you come across 3 to 4 type of questions. Number 1, multiple choice. Number 2, map. Number 3, multiple choice where out of 5 options you have to select 2. And number 4, there can be matching type of questions. So these 4 questions are very common in IELTS listening part 2. Now let's take a start. The title part 2 questions 11 to 14 title is Local Council Report on Traffic and Highways. Local council is like, we have city councils here, right? So like town municipality and town committee and all that. So local council report on traffic and highways. Just imagine there is a local council that has given a report on traffic and highways. Highways are like motorways, GT roads and all that, right? Now, let's see. In multiple choice, I have figured it out. If you just read in part 1, 2, 3, wherever you get multiple choice, if you just read the question, when they give you half minute to read the question, and you go through the options when the audio is going on. Because you will not remember everything. If you read all the options now, you will not remember. So just try this way, read the main question, don't read the options, but when the audio is going on, then your eyes should move among the options that, okay, this one or that one or that one or that one, like that. Let's see how to do it. A survey found people's main concern, underline main concern. Now listen, whenever they use the word main, or any other word like that, main concern, it means they will tell us about their minor concerns. Those minor concerns are other 2 options. And main concern is only 1 option. Now you will listen to the audio carefully and you will see what is the main concern of the people. People particularly complained about, people particularly they were worried about. That is their main concern. Anything like if they say, well, most of the people did not even mention that. So whatever they say after that, that will not be the answer. If they say, we considered cuts to public transport, but no one talked about it. That is not the main concern. So you should see what is the main concern of the people about traffic in the area was. Now what was their main concern? That will be the answer. Minor concern, no concern, or anything they speak opposite. For example, A, cuts to public transport. Cuts to public transport means they need to cut it. I mean, there are many public transport vehicles, they need to cut it short. B, poor maintenance of roads, right? And C is changes in the type of traffic. Now type of traffic means trucks, lorries, buses and all that. Now I play the audio. The first challenge for you is to pick up the option which is being discussed. They will not speak about them first A, then B, then C. They may start from option C, then they go back to option A, then they come to option B. And as they mention and you don't know, sometimes the first option they mention, that is the right answer. Sometimes the middle option is the right answer. Sometimes the first 2 are wrong. The last one which they discuss, that is the right answer. Now you should just keep in mind main concern. People's main concern. I play the audio. Please listen and answer. Question number 11.
Right. Next on the agenda we have traffic and highways. Councillor Thornton.
Thank you. Well, we now have the results of the survey carried out last month about traffic and road transport in the town. People were generally satisfied with the state of the roads. There were 1 or 2 complaints about potholes, which will be addressed, but a significant number of people complained about the increasing number of heavy vehicles using our local roads to avoid traffic elsewhere. We'd expected more complaints by commuters about the reduction in the train service, but it doesn't seem to have affected people too much.
So they spoke about A negatively, we expected. Whatever they speak about, we expected and all that, usually that is not the answer. So what is the right answer? Actually C. C for cat. That is changes in the type of traffic. Changes in the type of traffic, that was the main concern. I'm playing the audio again. Please listen.
Right. Next on the agenda we have traffic and highways. Councillor Thornton.
Thank you. Well, we now have the results of the survey carried out last month about traffic and road transport in the town. People were generally satisfied with the state of the roads.
People were generally satisfied with the state of the road. Poor maintenance of road, cross it. That's not the answer. Now we are left with A and C. People were generally satisfied with the state of the road. Let's go on.
There were one or two complaints about potholes, which will be addressed, but a significant number of people complained about the increasing number of heavy vehicles.
Significant number of people complained about increased number of heavy traffic, right? So changes in the type of traffic, increasing number of heavy traffic, changes in the type of traffic. C is the right answer. Now, how do they talk about A? Listen again. You must be careful in multiple choice. If you know how to locate the wrong answer, you will always find the right answer. Because whenever in multiple choice you select a wrong answer, you are trapped. You think, you find the wrong answer, you are trapped, you think this is the right one. Now listen carefully how they speak about A.
Using our local roads to avoid traffic elsewhere. We'd expected more complaints by commuters about the reduction in the train service.
We'd expected. In multiple choice, whenever they say we'd expected, we thought, that is never the right answer. So we'd expected more complaints about the reduction in the trains and all that. So cuts to public transport, she said we'd expected. But what happened?
But it doesn't seem to have affected people too much.
But it doesn't seem to affect the people too much. So it is not the right answer. Is that clear? Now the right answer is C, exactly. Question number 12. Which change will shortly be made? Now underline shortly be made. If they do something after 6 months, that is not shortly be made. If something is already done, that is not the change which will be made shortly. So which change will shortly be made to the cycle path next to the river? Now change and just underline shortly be made. Shortly mean immediately. They will do that change immediately, priority basis, right? So, and you can see in multiple choice now 3 words are being repeated. It will be, will be, will be, will be. So you don't need to read all. A, widened. Now see, they are talking about cycle path. Just imagine there is a cycle path and they are going to widen it, right? Option B, extended. Path will be extended. Like if it is now 3 kilometers path, it is going to be 5 kilometers path. It will be extended. A is widened, khula kar denge. B is extended, means they will make it long one. And C is resurfaced. Resurfaced means on the upper surface of the road. You know, sometimes they are putting tar and other stuff like that. So that is what called resurface. Now listen, they will speak about all 3 options. Some options they will do after 6 months. After 2 months, some they will not do, some they say we did them already, but one thing they are going to do immediately. For that they use the word shortly. So whatever they do immediately out of 3 options, that will be your answer. Let's start.
The cycle path that runs alongside the river is very well used by both cyclists and pedestrians since the surface was improved last year. But overtaking can be a problem, so we're going to add a bit on the side to make it wider. At some stage, we'd like to extend the path so that it goes all the way through the town, but that won't be happening in the immediate future.
So, okay, now you said B, it will be extended. Yeah, listen, they are not going to do it immediately. Option A, it will be widened, and for that they use the word we are going to do it. Going to, for example, if I say I'm going to drink water, this is the meaning of going to, right? Now listen again please, so that you guys are clear.
The cycle path that runs alongside the river is very well used by both cyclists and pedestrians since the surface was improved last year.
Since the surface was improved last year. So it will be resurfaced? No. Surface was improved last year. Cross it. Now you are left with A, B.
But overtaking can be a problem, so we're going to add a bit on the side to make it wider.
We are going to add a bit on the side to make it wider. We are going to. When you say going to, I just gave you the example. That means you are going to do it immediately. So which change will shortly be made? It will be widened. Okay. And the third one which you selected, I'll play that.
At some stage, we'd like to extend the path. So
at some stage, we'd like to extend the path. Future. At some stage, we'd like to extend the path, but not now. Clear? Good. Let's go on. Question number 13, please. Plans for a pedestrian crossing have been postponed because. Plans have been postponed and reason. This multiple choice is about a reason. So they will tell you 3 reasons, but 2 reasons will be fake. Right? For example, my plan for going to Islamabad has cancelled. You say reason. First, my mother stopped me, but at the end she allowed me to go. So mother is not the reason. See that? They talk like that. Now let's see what are the reasons. A. Post office has moved. Reason A. Post office has moved to a different location. B. Proposed location is unsafe. Location unsafe. Right? C. Funding is not available. Right? Now if they say we don't have any problem with funding, we have sufficient budget, then this is not the answer. Right? B is proposed location is unsafe. If they say, well, this location was thought to be unsafe, but now we have come to know that this is the safest location. That is not the answer. You just have to see. Post office has moved, if they say anything about that. Now, 2 options which are not the answers, they will speak about them negatively, oppositely, or in any way, but you just have to focus one thing, that is pedestrian crossing have been postponed because. What is the reason for that? I play the audio, please listen.
The plans to have a pedestrian crossing next to the post office have unfortunately had to be put on hold for the time being. We budgeted for this to be done this financial year, but then there were rumours that the post office was going to move, which would have meant there wasn't really a need for a crossing. Now they've confirmed that they're staying where they are, but the Highways Department have told us that it would be dangerous to have a pedestrian crossing where we'd originally planned it, as there's a bend in the road there, so that'll need some more thought.
It will be dangerous. It is B. The proposed location is unsafe. Now see that it was well budgeted. Budgeted means they don't have issues with option C. Funding is not available. A. Post office has moved. First they said there were rumors. There were rumors that they were going to move the post office, but now they've decided not to move it. So A is not the answer. I'm playing it again for you. Please listen carefully.
The plans to have a pedestrian crossing next to the post office have unfortunately had to be put on hold for the time being. We budgeted for this to be done this financial year.
We budgeted this to be done this financial year. Budgeted means budget hai. Right? So C, funding is not available, wrong. Clear? Yeah, now let's go on.
But then there were rumours that the post office was going to move, which would have meant there wasn't really a need for a crossing.
So then there were rumors post office was going to move and then there wasn't any need for crossing.
Now they've confirmed that they're staying where they are.
Now they've confirmed that they are staying, means post office people are staying where they are. So post office has moved, wrong answer. When you locate 2 wrong options, it's understood the one which is left is the right answer. Right? Now they will talk about B.
But the Highways Department have told us that it would be dangerous to have a pedestrian crossing where we'd originally planned it.
So the Highway Department told us that it would be dangerous. Dangerous means location is unsafe. Dangerous and location is unsafe. B is the answer. Let's go on. Question number 14. On Station Road, notices have been erected. And what are these notices telling people? A is telling, B is asking, C is warning. Okay? Now basically you will just see on Station Road, they will talk about a road which is called Station Road and they have the notices. What do the notices say on Station Road? That will be your answer. Right? Now A, telling cyclists not, now see this is a very long answer, very long option. I tell you how to cut it short. Telling cyclists not to leave their bikes outside the station ticket office. telling cyclists not to leave bikes. That's it. Telling cyclists not to leave bikes, or telling not to leave bikes. Understood that the bicycle riders will leave them. So telling not to leave bikes. कि यहाँ पे बाइक नहीं खड़ी करनी, something like that. Simple. And imagine also, in listening, your imagination will help you a lot. If you imagine station road, bicycles, and telling them bicycle इतनी लानी जुत्तियाँ मारांगा, like something like that. Okay. So B, asking motorists to switch off engines when waiting at the level crossing. So asking motorists switch off engines. If they talk about anything related to the smoke or fume, or any fume, they use the word for smoke. So they say if the people who stand, they suffered from the smoke of motors and all that. So we request them to switch off their engine while they are waiting for the train and all that. And C, warning pedestrians leave enough time when crossing the railway line. Warning pedestrians leave enough time. So now listen, whether it is telling cyclists, and you know cycle nahi khadi karni idhar, right? Asking motorists, engine band karke rakhna hai. And third is warning pedestrians that they have to move quickly or to leave enough time when crossing the railway line. Now play the audio. Please listen and answer.
On Station Road near the station and level crossing, drivers can face quite long waits if the level crossing's closed. And we've now got signs up requesting them not to leave their engines running at that time. This means pedestrians waiting on the pavement to cross the railway line don't have to breathe in car fumes. We've had some problems with cyclists leaving their bikes chained to the railings outside the ticket office, but the station has agreed to provide bike racks there.
Station has agreed to provide bike racks there. We had problems, problem hal ho gaya, bike racks aa gaye. So A is not the answer. She said we had, and usually in multiple choice, the option which they speak in the past, we had some problems with that and all that, usually they are not the right answers. Okay. So what's the right answer? B for boy. Asking motorists to switch off engines when waiting at the level crossing. I'll play this again for you.
On Station Road near the station and level crossing, drivers can face quite long waits if the level crossing's closed. And we've now got signs up requesting them not to leave their engines running at that time.
Requesting them, signs requesting them not to leave their engines running. That is asking motorists to switch off engines. Switch off engines means not to leave their engines running, right? And then they said fumes and all that.
This means pedestrians waiting on the pavement to cross the railway line don't have to breathe in car fumes.
Now, pedestrians waiting on the railway line, they don't have to breathe in car fumes. This is related to B. This is not related to C. C is warning pedestrians to leave enough time. They did not mention. They only said pedestrians who are standing by the cars, they will not breathe in car fumes. And the last option?
We've had some problems with cyclists leaving their bikes chained to the railings outside the ticket office, but the station has agreed to provide bike racks there.
So, station has agreed to provide bike racks. Now, there is no problem with that, right? Okay.